So here we are, again, talking about Bless, but not Bless Online, at least not as the focal point of this video. On August 24th, I posted a video titled Bless Unleashed, an upcoming free-to-play MMORPG remake of Bless Online launching in 2019. The video itself went on to garner over 50,000 views, have almost 500 people comment, most showing their distaste and disinterest in the game, and it had a 90% like ratio with upwards of 700 likes. And while I'm not using this as a way to gloat about the video or anything, I do want to use it as reference to show that there are still a lot of players, MMO players, not specifically just Bless players, that are still interested in the game. Whether that interest is purely to see if the game crashes and burns any further than it already has, or if it's to see whether the game will, end up even better. Regardless, there is still a large amount of interest surrounding the game. At PAX West this year, Bandai Namco released their first official announcement trailer for Bless Unleashed. And let me just get this out of the way first, it looked good. The announcement trailer itself actually looked good. It looked like what Bless Online should have been. They're using a new engine to power the game, so the game itself looks a lot better. The character movement is much more fluid, and the combat is faster, and it just overall looks a lot better. But that's it. All we saw from the announcement trailer is that the game looks a little prettier. Underneath that new shell, the game is still another game under the NeoWes owned Bless IP. At PAX, there were quite a few people allowed to actually get their hands on the game. I was personally invited up to PAX to test the game out through email and talk to the development team behind the scenes with promises of clearing up any confusions I had surrounding the game, also in an attempt to improve my general disposition towards the game, especially after the last video I did on it. Unfortunately, with my trip to Disney World planned for next week, I didn't really have the time nor funding to fly out there for that, so I ultimately had to turn it down. And although I have been promised a one-on-one call with the development team in the near future, keep an eye out for that. The fact remains that what people have said hasn't really been all that promising. As I had pointed out in my last video, the classes, they are in fact the same. The world itself is the same. A lot of the game, including resources and designers, are the same. They did make it a point to very adamantly profess the game's difference from Bless Online, however. The lead producer of the game actually went on to state that the biggest difference between Bless Unleashed and Bless Online is that they are actually completely different. He went on to further mention that the teams are producing some very different gameplay styles, and there are not even any common areas actually, but that was pretty much it. Then there's the removal of tab target altogether, making for what they claim is a true action MMORPG. Bless Online actually had an action camera mode, and Bless Unleashed seems to be fully scrapping any and all ideas of tab target whatsoever. This means that the combat is, I guess, much more comparable to something like Black Desert or Elder Scrolls Online as opposed to something like Final Fantasy XIV or WoW. And while the combat did actually look alright, don't get me wrong, it looked good. I cannot say for certain since I wasn't there and I didn't get to experience it firsthand, but I don't think it's really as drastic of an improvement as they make it seem. So you have new improved graphics on a new engine, a retelling of the story from a different perspective, and the removal of tab target combat. But that, at least at this point in time, seems like it's it. Although there are technically new teams working on Bless Unleashed, the IP itself still belongs completely to NeoWes, and at the end of the day, Bandai Namco did confirm that it will share a lot of the same resources and a lot of the same designers as Bless Online. That in and of itself is reason enough to just completely steer clear of Bless Unleashed. I'm not much of a pessimistic person. I often prefer to remain optimistic about games and their releases, just as I was for Bless Online. However, NeoWes have screwed players over to such an abhorrent degree that I cannot with any faith recommend anything that they're associated with, especially something they're lending their designers and resources to. I mean, sure, Bless Unleashed is going to consoles, a market where there isn't really much in the way of competition for the genre. You have a few games, but the market itself, on consoles especially, it's starved for diversity. The game is also going free to play, meaning you won't be required to spend a single cent on the game to play it, even though PC players had to spend their hard-earned cash to buy Bless Online. So in retrospect, this seems like a huge slap in the face to any and all of its PC supporters. But at least pertaining to the latter statement, that means that the game is going to have quite the hefty price to pay in terms of a cash shop. If any of you have played literally any South Korean MMORPG, you know full well how damaging their cash shops are. And you can be certain that NeoWes, who screwed over their PC fanbase once again, the ones that gave them actual funding to continue putting out other titles for a few bucks, are greedy as all hell. They value your money more than anything, clearly, otherwise they wouldn't have released Bless Online in such a wrecked, such a ruined state. It was absolutely disgusting, the state it was released in. Bless Online itself is barely able to hold 1,000 concurrent players online at any given time. What makes you think they're fourth? I think it's fourth, maybe fifth, I don't know. I lost count at this point. Regardless, what makes you think their console version is going to be any different? What makes you think their console iteration of Bless isn't just going to be another cash grab? Because it's being done in association with Bandai Namco? Please. Bless Unleashed is Bless Online with shiny new wrapping. People will realize that, and the game will die as fast as Bless Online did. But that's not before the game releases onto Xbox One, then onto PS4, makes a shit ton of money from their cash shop and gullible players, then decides a year later to report their console version to PC as a free-to-play title. Just watch. They already have a Bless mobile planned as well. Their goal to royally screw over as many players on as many platforms as possible is coming to fruition. They've already fucked us PC supporters in the ass. Console players, you're next. Now, while I don't, won't, can't, and likely will never support any Bless title, I would still love to talk to the developers about the game. I'd still love to hear what they have to say. I'd still love to know what they plan on doing differently and how they plan on tackling the fact that there's just so much hate for the IP as a whole now. I want to know what they honestly believe they can do that will harbor any goodwill from the player base, what their thinking is behind why they believe the game will, be any form of success. And finally, while I am pessimistic about Bless Unleashed, that's just me. I believe Bless Online was ruined by poor management, no bug testing, no alphas, no betas, developers making radical changes to the game such as large damage buffs and nerfs, and a general lack of understanding of how to publish an MMORPG, even though they'd published it several times in multiple different countries around the world. But hey, if they're working in conjunction with Bandai Namco, then maybe it'll be handled better. Maybe this version of Bless is the version of Bless we should have gotten for PC. Maybe if Neoways had released Bless Unleashed on PC instead of the failed recycled piece of trash we got, the game would have succeeded. It certainly had the hype to. What I'm trying to say though is that this is ultimately, at the end of the day, my opinion. I'm not with 100% certainty and clarity claiming that Bless Unleashed is going to be absolute pay-to-win garbage. I'm just saying that it'll probably be pay-to-win garbage. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't play it. I'm saying you should go in cautiously, knowing that it could be as terrible as Bless Online, and I'm saying you shouldn't get your hopes up. And do note that, there are still players out there that enjoy Bless Online. I'm not saying Bless Online is terrible for every single player. I'm, again, saying that Bless Online was terrible for a lot of players. And you're more than welcome to enjoy Bless Online. You're more than welcome to enjoy Bless Unleashed. I'm just saying, be careful. Like every MMO, good or bad, I'm going to be checking it out and giving my honest impressions of the game after a solid 10 hours or so when it releases. Now, what are your thoughts on Bless Unleashed? What do you want? What don't you want in the game? The fact that the Bless Unleashed team watched my video and responded to some of my concerns through email shows that they are actively watching. If you want your voice heard, if you want your opinion seen, make sure to write it all out in a comment below. Be civil though, because who knows, if enough of you actually show that you care, they might take notice and might make changes accordingly. Anyway guys, that is it for me. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you all next time. Peace. Thank you for watching my Bless Unleashed video. If you enjoyed it, drop a like, leave a comment, consider subscribing to my channel over here, checking out another video, or just following me on Twitter at ByteSticks to just chat or hang out.